Hey there, beautiful souls. I am so happy to hop on here this morning as I have been thinking and talking with quite a few people already this week about their goals and their desires for this year and what happened last year. And a common theme that keeps coming up is that they really, really desire to break that six-figure bar or that six-figure goal, whether it's six figures a month or six figures a year. It doesn't matter. That's just a measuring tool. But why is it that 90% of mompreneurs have this six-figure goal in mind and never reach it? Okay, so I wanted to break it down in a few simple steps for you. So why does 90% of us not go out and actually make these dreams a reality, right? Like there is no reason why you can't be as successful as the woman or the mom that you are watching that is like soaring, right? So what is different about what you are doing compared to what she is doing? Likely you are doing all of the strategies that they have told you to do. You are showing up, you are reaching out to your prospects, you are, having the parties or doing the challenges or whatever it is that people or women in your industry are doing. You're following suit, but it's still not happening. Why is this? Okay, that's what I want to break down for you. So first off, we're moms. We have houses to run, children to raise, mouths to feed, partners to, support, and houses to keep up. And there's a lot going on, as well as running and creating and growing your own business. So there's a lot on your plate, and that's no mystery to any of us. We knew that this was the reality when we chose to become entrepreneurs and go out and create this legacy for our family. Okay, so elephants out of the room. We already know like there's a lot going on for all of us. So it's really easy to get distracted with kids climbing on your lap and mom, I need this and I need that, and running to and from all the practices and all the things, right? But it's when we don't choose to block out that time that we have to dedicate to our business, right? So there's one. Number two is when we feel guilty about putting those blocks on our time and, having your family or your children have to do something else while you are focusing on growing your business, growing your brand, growing your audience, all those things, right? So mom guilt is a huge thing. The number three thing is that you keep putting everybody else and their needs in front of you, and you run on empty. The number of moms that I know out there that are doing all the things and do not stop to take time to fill their own cup, whether it's, taking a shower by themselves or getting up and having some quiet time by themselves, doing some studying, doing some reading, going and, having a quiet bath or whatever it is that fills your cup, right? Like those are so important because I know I came from the space of being a very burned out mom, doing all the things, and I never filled my cup. I lost sight of who I was, and it just doesn't work, right? When you are drained, you can't, fill everybody else's cup and put your business first and grow it and expand it. So, yes. Okay, the next one is you are so focused on the how. How am I going to make this happen? How am I going to grow this? How am I going to grow that? How am I going to take care of the kids and blah, 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 right? So our job is not to figure out the how. We are meant to figure out what we want, right? your divine guidance, God, source, universe, like whatever words you choose to connect with that, like you have support. And you're not doing this alone. Oftentimes we feel like we are doing this all on our own and we are the only ones. Like mompreneurs, oftentimes we are solopreneurs. We are doing all the things, right? And when we are so locked into figuring out the how, we end up not doing anything, right? Because you're managing everything, you're drawing out all the ways to do it, and then nothing actually ends up moving forward. So the bigger piece of this is we have to learn to look at and focus on what it is that we want. What's that big picture? What's that big vision that you want for your family and for your business, right? We want to have those goals be able to blend together, because you're not working on just your business and you're not working on just your family. They're growing together. They're going to synergistically like blend together. Okay. So we want to focus on the what and not necessarily the how, because the how will come, source, God, divine guidance, will bring the how to you once you give the direction of the what. Okay, so that's where finding this clarity. I've talked to so many women that are like, well, whatever God tells me is what I'll go do. And I'm like, that's great, but God is in you. We all have free will. And he's like, give me direction. I will give you whatever you want. You need to find the direction, right? It's kind of a cop out asking for someone else to come up with the plan for your life, right? That's ours to choose. We get to decide what direction we go. So looking at like finding that big vision is really important. Right? We don't focus on just doing all the things, right? Because there's strategy to everything. There's, physical action and doing all the things, right? That has to happen. But I want you to think of it like this, like there's a feminine and there's a masculine to everything, right? Like babies don't come to happen with just the mama, right? And it doesn't happen with just the man. They both need to come together. So when it comes to doing your business, like we have to look at the action parts, the actual doing of the things as the masculine. And when we go in and we like dream up the vision and we get connected with that desire and feel really in flow and connect with ourselves, that's the feminine, right? And when you bring the two together, that's when the magic happens and the baby comes to life, right? That's when it all comes to fruition. But so many of us are conditioned to try and do it just with the masculine. Okay, I'm going to go work my ass off and I'm going to hustle and grind and, do all the things, but we don't take time to go within and connect and really dream and visualize and bring that feminine or that spiritual part together with it. So let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you, right? Because when I pulled my head around it, and I was very masculine driven, right? I was doing all the things and we can hustle and we can grind and we can force those things to come to fruition eventually, but that's really draining. And it also takes a lot longer than if we take a step back, connect with source within us, and align with what it is that we're wanting, right? That changes everything. Another thing is like we often get stuck in old habits and patterns that, got us up to this point, and we just automatically go into them and keep doing the same things over and over and over, even though it's not getting you a different result, right? So sometimes just tweaking those things just a little bit will make a big difference. Many mompreneurs give up way too quickly, right? Like we get overwhelmed. We have, all the practices, all the things going on with the kids, the, demands from other things, and you jump into an opportunity and then like you don't continue on when it gets really tough and when you hit a wall, right? You've You're seeing all these other people succeed that are in your industry, and you're like, why not me? And that brings the next piece of, you want it really, really bad. I understand that. I get that. You want it so bad, but you don't. But do you believe? Do you believe in the deepest part of you that you got this, that you are doing this, that it's done, that there's no questions whatsoever that this is happening? And I can guarantee, if you aren't where you want to be and you're not making that 6 figures yet, you got to go there. Because I guarantee that there is negative chatter going on, or negative beliefs. And it may not be like upfront in your face. It may be going on in the background, and you may not even be recognizing it. Maybe you get like this sinking feeling whenever certain things come around, or you get to a certain level. Maybe you just had the best month of your career in this industry, and then all of a sudden you like go back down, and something happens. Maybe some situation comes around and something happens, and then you're not on that high anymore, and then you're kind of circling down here and kind of doubting, can I do that again? Was that a fluke? Like, what's going on here, right? Like, that belief has to be so strong. And how do we get that? We get that by learning more about us and learning how to take control of our minds and be aware of what it is that you're thinking and shifting it. So many never really believed that they could. They never really, like, they wanted it, they saw it, and they like expressed that they wanted it, but they didn't expect it. They didn't truly believe it, right? The next one is, you haven't grown into that version of yourself that is aligned with this big dream, this big desire. Because this version of yourself that is here experiencing everything that you are experiencing right now, she's amazing. She's absolutely phenomenal. You see, from like the growth from where you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago to now, well done. But girl, you have not grown to the level that you need to be. The belief that you have to have, the level of thinking that you have to be able to align with these goals, with these dreams. Because whether you know it or not, everything is a vibration and a frequency, and you are vibrational match for everything that you have in your life right now, whether it's the relationships, the physical, the health, the financial, all of it. You're a vibrational match right now. So we have to grow. That means going internal and doing that internal hard work that nobody really wants to do, and become the vibrational match for that dream, that desire that you are stepping into, right? And the next one is like, you got to a certain level and you believed you could, and then you hit a wall, right? You bumped up against something. Well, that something that you bumped up against, that's your self-image, your belief of what was possible. And if you keep bumping up against it and you haven't moved past it, right? Like maybe you've gotten to a certain level of financial success, or a certain level of, partners that you've been able to bring in a month or whatever. You've bumped up against it and you can't move past it. That's because that is where your self-belief is aligned at. That's what internally, that's what you believe you're capable of. You are capable of so much more. So negative beliefs end up like holding you back. It's not who you are that is holding you back. It's who you believe that you're not. Okay. So that's something that literally holds everybody back. And it doesn't matter whether you're making 4 figures, 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures. Like, everybody bumps up against this ceiling. It's self-imposed, right? And everybody, to move beyond it, has to grow through it. Another thing is trying to do too many things. So I talk to so many mompreneurs. They're doing this, right? Like maybe they have like 5 or 6 businesses. Okay, so guilty. I used to be that way. And I was like, oh, well, this one isn't doing it. Well, I'm going to add another one. I'm going to add another one. I'm going to add another one. And you know what? Then I ended up with 6 businesses that was all netting me the same amount of money at the end of the year. Nothing was really shifting. Why was that? Well, there was a few different reasons why, because I was spreading myself too thin and things, wasn't getting the attention that it needed. But also I was trying to change things on the outside. And we can rearrange things, but it doesn't change where it all comes from. It comes from here. And it wasn't until I went and I started doing that internal work, that self-reflection and learning how to change the thoughts and all of that things really started changing. So when we change on the inside, then the outside reflects something different. And then we don't have to work as hard and we don't have to have as many businesses to make the money that you want to make. Okay. And the last one that I'm going to talk about this morning is, like, we haven't really envisioned yourself there with that success. Right? Like I said, you want it, you really want it, but like you can't really like place yourself there. Close your eyes, see yourself as that like successful version of yourself. How are you acting? How are you showing up? How are you thinking? How are you living? How are you impacting the world? Right? Like being able to connect with that vision really often will really help you create that belief and grow that belief in yourself. So these are just a few of the reasons why 90% of mompreneurs don't ever reach that 6-figure mark. And gratefully, I am able to help you to recognize what those pieces are for you and to help you move through those blocks. So if that is something that you desire to stop wishing and dreaming of the 6-figure mark that you are going for, whether it's a month or a year, then reach out, because oftentimes we feel stuck, but we don't know how to get the help. And if you're ready to let this be the month or the year that you break through this barrier, then why not make a quick call or connect and see if this is something that can help you. All right, my friends, I am so grateful for each and every one of you that has come across this video. And if you're watching the recording, I am so grateful for you. We have aligned, we have connected for a reason. So receive what you want from this. If you got value out of this, please drop value in the comments, share it with your friends if you need. And if you are on Facebook, then drop me a message. I would love to connect with you. And if you're on one of my other platforms, then please hit the like button, subscribe if you can, and let's connect, because I am here to serve you and to give you guidance and to help you live your best life. That's what fills my purpose. All right, have an amazing day, expect abundance, and I will talk to you again soon.